Frustration.
I hear you. So this is episode 16 of the Crom Updates. I am joined for the fourth time with David Molina. David, how are you doing this fine Saturday morning?
Doing good today. Just a little frustrated. I've been trying to get this scan to you, but it's just not happening. And the dimensions of this are width is 14 by, what is it?
By 17.
17. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the 14 is what throws them off, because they have 11 by 17.
Yeah, well,
They
the
can
thing
they
is,
can
is
do
that,
that.
yeah, well, the thing comes down to, like, they would have to tile it in. Like, I even tile my pages in. My pages are 13 by 19, but then what I
Okay.
do is I scan the top at 11 by 17 and then the bottom, and there's an overlap, and then I just bring them in Photoshop and overlap them and split them together, cut them together.
Okay. So it's a whole process, yeah.
Do you have a scanner, like even just an 8.5 by 11 flatbed?
Yeah, I have a flatbed like that. I just I've never done
you don't
what they're
have
explaining.
Photoshop though, right? You don't
No.
have Photoshop?
No, I
Okay,
don't. I
so
don't.
all right, no, this is gonna be all right. This is gonna be all right. So let me grab a piece of paper and kind of explain
Right.
tiling, especially for as big as it you have.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come up with something on the fly to get this work. So here, this is just the 8.5 by 11 scan bed, right? So this is the scan bed, right? Now you have literally a we're gonna do you said it's a 14 by 17, okay? So this is, we're just going to say this is 14 and then this is 17 art. Okay. Now with tile scanning, what you do, let me get real technical on you here and give you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be writing. I'm taking notes. So.
Yeah. No. And obviously I'll be editing this and you do. So now, and then this is, let's say this is the scan bed. This is what you're getting out of it. Even at 8.5 by 11. Okay. Then what you do is you probably even have to just, go on its side. This is usually what I do for something this large. And then you'll have it where it'll be 11. This is now your next 8.5 by 11. Then you turn it again. This is a little out of whack. But what'll happen? I'm just gonna say, this is right. So now this is an 8.5 by 11, and then you scan it again, and you get this. Now there's always going to be overlapping in the middle as well. Yeah. But for the most part, you'll end up with 4 scans.
Okay.
Then you bring those scans into Photoshop. And then if you have a 14 by 17, you do like a 15 by 18 and then have it set that everything goes into the middle by cross lines.
Okay, got it.
And then what happens is then you start bringing in everybody. And then I use an edge lasso, I just and then the secret's this really is you'll do a feather, like I'll feather, and this is Photoshop speak, just so you know.
Okay.
I feather it like 30, which, gives it a very, from here to here in the cut, it's blurry. It's fading. So in other words, things that if it's not quite matched, it will, because there's this amount of fade that happens.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not a hard cut. It's not a line over top of a line cutting, and then you're trying to get it to be matched up that way. I mean, you can be a little. Yeah. Each scan can be a little crooked, but you'll in the end be able to put together. So this is what I'm gonna propose is you give it a try.
All right.
You scan the 4, and
Yeah.
then can you do a zip file?
I can try. I can try to do zips.
Do you have a PC or a Mac?
My PC.
You have a PC. How you have an updated Windows
Yeah,
version, like
yeah,
10,
everything's
10.
updated.
Yeah, because
Yes.
what you can do is you can make in a folder, right click that folder, and it'll say
Okay.
zip archive. It'll do zip
I got
archive.
it.
And if you have to, I can actually help you go through that. But there's actually really really short videos on YouTube on how to
Okay,
do
yeah, I'll look some up.
A Windows 10
Definitely.
Windows 10 right
Yeah.
click, and then you get there. Then what you'll do is you'll send that folder, that zip file, to me through a website called wetransfer.com.
WeTransfer. Okay.
Yeah, it's a buddy of mine introduced it to me last year. And all it is you have my email and your email. Then you upload through the browser the zip file, and then it
Okay.
sends it for you. So
All right. Cool.
and then I'll get an email, which is an attachment basically. But what it is it's linked to
Yeah.
that, and then
Okay.
I can download it. If that ends up being too technical and doesn't
Yeah.
work, then send each one as a separate email.
Got it. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay.
Because and of course name them, you know, um, Crom Crom
Okay.
Pinup 1, Crom Pinup 2, Crom Pinup 3, Crom Pinup 4, and then I'll be able to know that I'm obviously getting them. But
Okay.
it is an amazing thing in our society when it comes to technology, that
Yeah.
not only do individual like companies, like they might even advertise, but
Yes.
they don't have the people who can technically do it. But
No.
I'm
No.
gonna do a shout out to my main man Albert at the
Awesome.
FedEx that I've been going and visiting for years,
Yeah.
because
That's cool.
he is a blessing. But if you don't have somebody, he has a great appreciation for art. He does art
Yeah.
himself,
Yeah.
so he knows when I make certain terminology and expectations
Got it.
that
Yeah.
he can meet that, because I have had situations where I unfortunately even left the artwork there, and it's treated
Yeah.
in a very it's
Oh,
mistreated, and
dude.
that's just
Yes. Yes.
so. But I was I would also say, even in the, like, let's say, part timer place you're in, being
Yeah.
a comic book illustrator, an artist, and everything.
Yeah.
Even investing in cheap technology and kind
Yeah.
of macking it to get it to do something
Yeah.
is, I think,
Exactly.
probably just as viable. For that, I wouldn't. I'm actually gonna see if I can find somewhere where, with AI now, I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
place you could take all four of those scans, and it
Oh,
will
that's
put it
right.
it
Yeah.
will put it all together for you.
Right. Yeah. Bet there is something like that.
But make sure you do the scans at 300 DPI.
300 DPI.
300
300
DPI. You should have the
DPI.
ability to do
Okay.
that. So then when I have it all done, you'll have an excellent archival version, high
Okay.
res, for that. But
Awesome.
yeah, I was getting worried because we were going back and forth, but I wasn't
Yeah,
worried about
man.
you. I wasn't worried about you. I was worried
Yeah.
about, like I just went through, like, knuckleheads, um, you know, just
Dude. Yeah. It was.
clueless companies that offer it but don't know how to do. It's
Yeah.
just
And then at the UPS store, they have people constantly coming in. So it's like, did they just not want to help me? Because they're gonna have to take some
it's
time to
true.
do this,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
And it was just weird. And I went to another, like I said, I went to another town, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can do this. We just don't have the scanner for it. So if you can go get a picture of it." So they told me to go to some place in Austin to get a picture of it, and then bring the file to them, and la da 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 da.
What?
So yeah, bring the file. They can mess with the opacity of it, and it's like this place prints banners for crying out loud. They
It's
should
Yeah.
have
It's a
something like
lot of
that.
That's a lot of knucklehead. Now, what version of iPhone do you have? Do you have an iPhone?
No, it's Android, and it's
That's
like
okay.
a year
It's a
old
year.
maybe.
Well, then at the
Yeah,
same point, you could end up just taking a picture.
yeah,
It's just you need a tripod and
exactly.
you need a good even flow of
Lighting.
light, natural. So
Yeah,
you're always going to be dealing with some aspect
yeah,
in getting reproduction done. But yeah,
yeah. No, I'm gonna
let's give this
this.
let's give this a try.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it a try. But it just kind of like opened my eyes that I need to, I need to do this myself because
Yeah,
relying on other people sometimes it just doesn't go the way you want it. So I am
that's
gonna
true.
update my tech here.
Good, good. No,
Um,
I'm
oh man,
and I, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna change gears here. So you go ahead first.
Okay, because I was going to change gears too after I made this statement. Now,
Okay.
I also want to repeat this is a low stress
Yeah.
situation. So, but I know you probably experienced some stress, and I'm sorry that you
Yeah.
did. But I also want to reiterate that I am here, and I am because I'm not
Okay.
paying top dollar for the quality of art that I am getting
Yeah.
from individuals like yourself. If I can do something in the way of support in
Okay.
technology or
Yeah.
something, I'm definitely keeping myself out there
All right. Well, I
for you
appreciate that,
guys. So
Kurt.
don't. You're
Yeah.
welcome. You're welcome. But I'm also greatly appreciated in having your talent be a part of
Yeah.
the Crom Revised.
Awesome. No, yeah, I was like, man, Kurt's gonna think I'm a flip-flop. That's why I
No,
sent you that email. Hey,
no,
can you talk today?
no.
Because I need to explain
Yeah,
myself here.
I understand. I understand. And no,
Yeah.
I live in northern Wilmington, Delaware, and
Okay.
I have three companies that I have reputations with over the last
Yeah.
20 something years. So
Nice.
if I had to do something, I can always lean in. So but I also thought like FedEx Kinko or
Yeah.
Staples. Like, I mean, I would never send somebody to Staples, but if you
Yeah.
had to, um, I'd give it a shot. But I would definitely not leave the art there. I would just say, is there a
No.
way
Yeah.
we could schedule time, and if I have to stand in the store for 30 minutes, I'll be here.
Yeah. I'll do
So
something like that actually, because there's one like 40 minutes away from me at Staples. And I gotta hit that place up next. Actually, I'm gonna call first because that's what's been getting
no, do
me. I
that.
I go
Do that.
there and then it's like
Yeah, yeah,
there's I can't get help.
yeah. No, 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 no,
So
no.
but yeah, you give your artwork to these guys and they 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 handle it like without care, like they're creasing
Oh,
it and it's
none,
like, dude, get
none.
your
Yep.
grubby hands off of it.
Yep. Yep. No,
No,
no, no, no, no. Yeah.
terrible.
I have many a horror story, but other than that, we can move on from that. But the thing
Yeah,
too is that if you've got, I mean, you can get cheap 8.5 by 11, good high quality scanners though. I mean, the
yeah,
technology is still giving a high res. It's just 8.5 by 11, and you have to tile.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
let's stay in this zone in the tiling thing, and
yeah,
then I'll work with you, and then we can find because there's a lot of like comparable Photoshop
yeah.
programs that you could get yourself into
Okay.
which will help you also format because it does lead me to
Yeah.
another question, David,
Hmm.
which is like the you're gonna need something to be able to format your own books together, and
Yeah.
that can be years of figuring out unless you
I
have
bet.
somebody
Yeah.
unless you
Unless
have
they have a
somebody like
Kurt.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I mean, and I've gone through so many, but I have my own, and it's on the
Yeah.
cheap, by the way.
Okay, cool.
it
No,
just
well,
takes
that Crom
it just
comics
takes
came out really good, so
Yeah,
yeah.
this was actually, just so everybody knows, I laid this entire book out in a word processor called Open Office.
Okay, yeah.
It's free. It crashes a lot, but what
Mhm.
I do, just to give a real quick technical, I did this in I think 3 pieces, so I
Oh
could
wow.
get like I don't know, like 20 or 30 pages at 300 DPI at this 6x9, and then I would save it as a PDF. So I saved it as Crom the Barbarian PDF 1,
Yeah.
then the next set of pages 2, next set of pages 3, and then I used an online PDF stitcher. So I dumped
Yeah.
all 3 of the PDFs in there, and then it gave me one PDF, so then I could upload it to lulu.com.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
that. So I've always been this way when it has come to technology, because yes, there are ways of doing it. And yes, you could spend $3,000 on all the good technology equipment, and you could do that. But especially at where we're at and what we're doing, the return on the investment is going to be unless
that overhead would be lingering for a while.
Yeah, that's not realistic, because you have your own life with your responsibilities, and respectfully so. And then when you have time to sit down and make art, you should be spending the majority of that time making art. So
exactly, yeah. Yep.
So that's for that.
True.
But other than that, how have you been?
Good. That's been, I've been really wanting to ink this. Like, I have to stop myself not to ink it, because it's, it's just sitting there. I want to ink this sucker. But
once I get those scans, we'll be good.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually have acquired some what do you call them? Some screen tone. So what do you call it? I've been messing with that, practicing Zipatone, yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, actually, I don't know if it's the same thing. Deleter, the manga company, they make so my brother actually bought it for me, and he it's like the starter pack. I think it's number 2, volume 2. But dude, it just I love it.
Oh boy. And you got some sharp X-Acto blades, right?
Yeah, you need something sharp, because it's gonna screw everything up if you don't. But yeah, I'll show you some of the artwork I've been working on.
Oh, please.
Just practice wise.
Please.
But do you want me to show you now?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Show you some. Well, I got this.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so zips, you can bring out the highlights, which is pretty cool, but I don't want to do that just yet. This is just practice,
Yep.
But so I might be doing some of these screen tones on the Crom pinup. I'm not sure yet. What do you think, though? Do you think that'd be all right?
Okay, technically speaking, I love Zipatone, but I hate cutting it out. So one of the things that I'm figuring out with my work is the valuing system, that when I make all of these crazy black and white and gray marks, that when I do scan it and I convert it to just a black plate, that now I will have my own kind of rough and ready Zipatones. But when I share Ken Landgraf's pinup for Crom the Barbarian, he Xerox Zipatone sheets, but then he'll just take an X-Acto, cut them and glue them down, and then color. Now obviously it works when after the scanning you've obviously blown out anything that's not black, and it that kind of edginess where the papers are, one's glued on top of the other, and there's that little crease right there and stuff. And even putting there, you get a shadow, but you can blast that all out and go from there. But I even kind of like the effect, like the kind of artsy kind of quality to putting it in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it has those things going in. But yeah, I have my my eye on. I don't know if it was that same stuff or it was just a Zipatone packet, but I just personally would rather like I wish just make,
because it does get expensive.
Well, that is the
Yeah,
other.
it's like,
That is when you become dependent on it, and you're doing a series of
yeah.
comic book stuff.
Oh
You're
man, it's
really
$25 a pop for four of them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Dude, the
that's
lighting on that page right there that he's showing,
yep.
dude, that's sick.
Yeah,
Love that lighting.
these are all ready to get scanned. Actually, I have scanned. Oh yeah, I have scanned them right before getting on this morning.
Yeah,
And then I will send a PDF of them to Jake, and then Jake will get on and he'll help me kind of focus in on some of the wonkiness and everything.
yeah.
I've been experiencing.
Question on
Nope.
the lighting. How do you figure lighting? Let's say for a piece like that, do you start with lighting first, or how do you do it?
So the trick I have right now is, the what I'm doing is I'm taking these original ballpoint pen. Where is it? Here it is. So this is the original ballpoint pen drawing, which was 11 by
Yeah,
17. I'm blowing it up to 13 by 19, and I'm printing it out 100% ballpoint pen. So I'm working directly on top of. So I do have a value system established from that.
yeah.
Then what I do is I have my Molotow um, liquid masking markers. Then what
Okay.
I do is I go over those areas that I want to keep basically high white register. Like
Yeah,
obviously I want to try to keep the text blocks as white as possible because that's for readability. But once I do all the masking, I then take this stuff here, which is graphite. It's a water soluble
okay.
graphite in a stick.
Oh
And
well.
then this is my little bucket where I scrape it in there, and then
Mm,
I just take this here brush and then I just literally kind of paint this graphite value in there, and
yeah. Okay.
it's a middle tone ish place. But the other thing
Yeah.
is that it's not an ink wash because ink has a tendency to blotch. So
Hmm.
it'll pool. Now this stuff will pool, but when it does, it kind of has this gradient on there. This pencil
Yeah.
obviously gradient. It's not the water soluble pigment looking stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of trick. And then I go back and focus in on all the black spotting my blacks. And then as I'm
Yeah.
moving that way, I have pens like all types of marking pens, ballpoint pens, and paint marker pens, and I
Yeah.
start, white. I'm totally obsessed with my white Aristo pens, and I just got some gray
Yeah.
bullet point ones and stuff. But I know with your work, I said this before, but I'll say it again, and it's a very attractive thing stylistically about your work. Just at this point, your black and white work, David, wherever you end up putting values in, it almost
Yeah.
becomes like a color in a sense. So, in other words, the
Mm,
differentiation of something like a wall to like a big pale giant or something, and that
yeah.
wall would be maybe, you threw some ink wash on there. It always has
Yeah.
more of a feeling of it being a gray colored wall than a
Okay. Yeah.
than a value of gray that then causes you to react to the
Okay.
pale
Yeah.
giant, and
Hmm.
then that
Yeah.
type of thing. So your line work is very structured and very well kept. I think what you're getting frustrated with is how to create a system of values that, and correct me if I'm wrong,
No. Yeah.
gives it a more realistic look.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been going back and forth there because I know, like, in some art, there's the shadows aren't really realistic, but it works, right?
Yes,
If it
yes,
works,
yes,
that's all that matters.
yes.
So my whole thing is like, yeah, I'm probably just overthinking it like always, but it's like, is someone gonna call like bullshit on this lighting? You know,
Well, what do you
it's like
mean
this guy's head's
call?
lit.
Well, I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
okay. Technically, though, So the technical part, and I'll even bring, the technical part of lighting something like, a
Yeah.
ball is this shape of being dark is exactly that. It just needs to be a shape that goes with it's another circle, if you will.
Yeah.
But the thing
Oh, okay.
about it,
Yeah.
is the trick is, the illusion is not filling in this space, is leaving this white,
Okay.
this and this is all just basic
Hmm.
basic
Yeah.
let's say shading, and then
I think
there's
I
the
skipped this.
tapering. There's the tape. It's okay. It's the taper. I didn't come back to this thinking until way
Yeah.
later after art school. I just was
Yeah.
like, I'm doing comic books. Everything's flat. I just need to make lines and cool. You know what I mean? And I was very calligraphic.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. I
Yeah.
love calligraphy and line marks, just that, with the brush.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then when you want to get your brain working, it needs to do one thing first after you've done all of the line art. You need to spot blacks. You need
Okay.
anchoring. Like, take this page, for instance, and I'll even show the original. You need to establish where things are going to be black. Now, I was definitely not dealing with anything in ballpoint pen that was going to be 100% black, but he's white, and so that arm behind him as a Giants arm is basically all black. There's no reason to do anything else there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then to carry compositionally down to here, that's what this black shadow is all about.
Mm.
And then it gets in here, and then here, this is basically the majority of ballpoint pen left. But you got this heavy shadow here, and so on and so forth. And then I made a pretty, like, crazy. This is all black now, which will then be white text. But then the digits of the finger grabbing this, like, wildebeest thing, that's the majority of then blocks going from there. So now and then these guys get a little close to black, but they're just basically valued. But these are all just movements. Sorry, I don't think there you go. It's a better shot.
Cool.
So that's the black bar. These are the digits. And then so everything is moving. So it's in, down, over to this guy, push back, climb up the wall, run across black bar of text, and then hands grabbing. So then put those as the dark digits. And then everything else, and I'm being very crass about this, but I think everything else when it comes to finding value in gray is noodling it. Noodling it.
Yeah.
Mobius, when you really look at his work, is so minimal. But his line work and composition can actually start making you hallucinate blacks, shadows, colors. And then he models then everything with that, as well as our Crom. Everything is
that's right.
Everything is modeled by this little hatching.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. It's so powerful and versatile, so that I always default to these marks. It just depends on, am I using something this big or something this big?
Mm.
And going anywhere in between. I remember initially seeing your work, and the first gut wrenching reaction was just how quality graphic it is. So I hope you don't want to tamper with, let's say, 2024's David Molina's style. Because I think you can, as all of us can, improve upon, but I think the improving upon should be directional in what you already have improved at.
Yeah, got it.
You have very quality work. You have very quality work, sir.
No, thank you.
So somebody needs to tell you this. because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is what
Artists
I'm
live in a bubble.
exactly. And it's once again why I put together this Crom
Exactly.
revised edition in the blog and
Yeah,
these videos for the updates on working with you guys on these Crom pinups for the revised
yeah,
edition. But like I said, I've had a folder. I have a folder of artists that, and you were in there for a while, as many of
yeah,
them are. But I always imagine, like, man, I would like to ink this work because there's so
yeah,
much
yeah.
information graphically being established in quality that if I had an opportunity to ink that work, that would be pretty. I think
No,
it
yeah.
would be a really wild reaction that would happen with
Yeah,
that work.
yeah. I really want to see that actually.
Yeah, it'll happen. It's gonna
I
happen.
think that's
We just have to
I
get
think
this.
that's
We
gonna
just
be
have to
cool.
get the scanning thing figured out, which I think we
I
have it figured
know,
out.
man. I know.
We'll figure. We'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll just have to. We'll just have to go through the thing. What's your schedule like for the rest of today?
Today, well, my brother's over,
Okay,
so I'm gonna do some family stuff. But
good.
nights is when I work. No matter what, I always work nights.
Okay,
Um, I stay up for, even till 4 o'clock sometimes.
wow.
But yeah, I'll be working on stuff tonight. I'll try to get this scanning going too, because it's kind of irking me now.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Well,
Uh,
then we have something. I'm not up that late, but I am. When you're going to bed at 4, I'm usually getting up around there. So
oh wow.
I'm usually up and about. I'm working at 5 in the
Yeah,
morning.
nice.
But that doesn't stop. Like I said, you from emailing me, and we'll make a run of it. And I know you're
Yeah,
anxious to throw some ink on this. Um,
yeah.
but I have to say, David, I am super excited about this challenge because, like I said, it's
Yeah.
very
Oh,
much
it's cool.
it's very much a part of what I'm doing here. Is not just trying to get
Yeah,
art for nothing. Trying to build a
yeah,
community and a community of
yeah,
like-minded creatives around a public domain character to get some comics actually printed and distributed and build a following and a
yeah.
heartfelt one. And I hit gold when I was able to get you on board. So I have to
Awesome.
once again
Thank you.
thank you. I
Thank you.
just have to thank you for being a part of it. And I do not want you to
No.
stress. I don't want you to stress.
All right. Thanks
All
for that.
right. All
Yeah.
right.
No, it's
So,
awesome that you're doing this because it has brought other artists, to my purview. Drawn Sword, Schoonover, it's pretty cool to be part of this, man.
yeah, I
Thank
just
you.
recorded. I just recorded with Jason Schoonover, so we just finished right
Oh,
before.
sick. Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to get him to stay on, but the family was coming home from groceries, and they were then going to
Yeah.
go out and
Got
everything.
it.
And I said, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but when I told him you made the suggestion for him to come on, he just said, oh well,
Yeah.
I gotta thank David for that. So, but he helped me pull the triggers. So it's really cool. And
Yeah.
then
Cool.
I
Cool.
have another gentleman, Adam Dodds,
Hmm.
he's very close, I think aesthetically to Jason Schoonover. So
Okay. Cool.
I actually just finished
Nice.
editing that video. It got out to him. That's the
Yeah.
first video that'll go up on the Crom the Barbarian blog.com blog and on
Nice.
the March, I think March, whatever that first Tuesday of March is and everything. So,
Yeah.
but
All
yeah,
right. Cool.
everything's moving along. I might be bringing in one more artist, but
Yeah.
I got to see where we're at in the next week or two.
Okay.
And then I've been telling everybody now because I feel confident. The dates of due time for art on the revised edition will be by the end of March.
March. Okay.
I will have something go out to definitively create some structured timing and stuff by the end
Okay.
of February because that's where I have one more story to give inks to, and then I do have a story to illustrate. But the story
Yeah.
illustration shouldn't give me this much pain, though I
Yeah.
it might. But that the release of Crom, the revised edition, I'm planning on May, the entire month of
Okay.
May,
May.
selling
Yeah.
the books on cromthebarbarian.com for 30 days or however long it is.
Nice.
And I've shared with you the virgin cover situation, right?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So you guys
That's
are getting
awesome.
virgin covers. They will only be available through me for that month, and then part of your
Yeah.
compensation is to get copies for you guys to have. So when somebody calls me
Okay.
and says, "Hey," or emails me and says, "Hey, I really like Crom the Barbarian, but I would rather have a David Molina cover. Can I still get one?" Yes, you
Yeah.
can, but you have to buy it from David Molina. So
Okay.
that'll
Awesome.
be
That's
that'll be
cool.
part of that stuff. So, but other than that, I don't
All
have
right.
anything else. Do you have anything else, Dave?
No, that was it. Yeah,
Cool, cool,
I'm
cool.
good.
Well, we will have an update for everybody on how this all plays out with tile scanning.
You're right. Yes.
This is
We're all
great.
learning.
Right, exactly, and always should be. But David, I can't wait to
Yes.
see you, and we will see you again.
Yes, sir. Take care.